good morning, and good morning. How are you today? Nice to see you. Welcome to the show, the channel, the hopes, the dreams, the aspirations. It is November the 29th, 2022. Welcome to the party, pal. We're about to get this thing going today. And it's been an interesting morning. Not a lot going on, but it's been an interesting morning. We were plus about plus 50 on the Dow about an hour ago. We're now negative 29.30 on the Dow. We were just negative 40 just a moment ago. Markets are backing off all over the place. European markets are coming negative. They're quickly heading south. Something's going on. I don't know exactly what that something is, but something's going on. We're negative on German markets, French markets, Italian markets. They've all turned red in the last 10, 15 minutes. The FTSE, over in London, they are headed south, but they're still up 40 points, but that's only half a percentage point. Definitely heading to the negative direction. Interest rates, which had been really puzzling me, were much lower this morning. Now coming on again. The German interest rate this morning, the 10-year Treasury, 1.88%. 1.88 on the German 10-year, now 1.92. The U.S. 10-year is 3.7, which is incredibly cheap considering what's going to happen here with the Federal Reserve. I'm just looking here in the last month. The U.S. 10-year on the 7th of November, that's 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, it was 4.2% for the U.S. 10-year. Just 3 weeks ago. It's now 3.7, half a point lower. It was at 4.2 on October 24th. Amazing. But then again, if you do look at a chart, over the last year or so, 6 months, I mean, back in August 1st, 2.5% for the U.S. Treasury. 2.5. A year ago, we were at 1.3 last December. 1.3 for the U.S. Now it's 3.7. And I think we're going to add another 2 points to this. 5.7 is possible over the next 3 months, maybe 4 months. Unfortunately, for those of you who think that the interest rate thing is just a little anomaly, it's not a big deal, we're going to get over it, inflation is going to be tamed, and everyone's going to sing Kumbaya, it's going to be fine. There's nothing to see here. There's nothing to see here. Everything's going to be fine. Not going to happen. Sorry. No, not again. Oh, no, not again. Sorry. Not going to happen. Here's the thing. The thing is that in January, coming up, right after the new year, every American receiving Social Security is getting a raise. So all grandmas and grandpas, anyone over whatever age you are to collect Social Security, 8.6% boost in Social Security payments January. That's baked in. That's set. That's law. That's done. It's guaranteed. And that's an annual increase. And so every month, each check that goes out from the U.S. government will be, on an annualized basis, 8.6% more money. And I can pretty well assure you that every single recipient of those checks, let's say 99.8% of them, they're going to spend that extra money. That is money going into medication, going into rent, the electric bill, the grocery bill. It's spent. It's going to be spent. That is 8.6% more money, and we're talking billions and billions a month of more money. This is not like some small little amount of cash. This is huge. This is all going into the U.S. economy. It is USA. Let's say this. Made in the USA inflation. 8.6% payment to Social Security recipients is a made in America deal. All that money will be spent pretty well in America. That's against what the Fed wants. The Fed is trying to slow down the economy. They're trying to kind of taper exuberance. This isn't exuberance getting more money for Social Security. This is not like throwing money at seniors who are going to go gambling with it. I mean, this is just life. I mean, their costs have gone up like ours have. There's no difference for a loaf of bread for a senior versus us. It's gone up in price. They're going to spend it on a loaf of bread and butter and eggs and whatever. So it's not a luxury spend. This is necessary, but it is baking in inflation and locking it in. The railroad strike is imminent. Congress is going to have to pass a law, and the Senate will have to back it up to prevent the railroad workers from walking off the job. There are 5 unions involved with all the rail companies, and it's a real kerfuffle, and there's misunderstandings and distrust and all kinds of crap going on over there. Safe to say, history says what will likely happen is there will be a federal law passed by the Congress and the Senate very quietly to outlaw a strike for the railroad, putting them back to the negotiating table with an independent arbitrator to cut the deal back and forth. That's how this is going to go. And it could take another 3 months. At the end of the day, all right, there won't be a real strike. Fair enough. There will be a new contract. Yes. And what will that contract be? 25% pay raise over the next 3-4 years. Baked in. Made in America inflation. The American Airlines pilots, United Airline pilots, Delta's pilot, all their unions are going to be, if not already are, in discussions for new contracts. The American Airlines Pilots Association, the union, has already said no to a 20% pay raise for the American airline pilots. They've already said no to that deal. Now, no one is giving you the details because, in this 8-second attention world, all we're going to give you is the headline. I just gave you the headline. 20% raise rejected. That's all you're going to get from everybody else. From yours truly, I'll say to you, if you're still listening, there are a lot of details behind that negotiation, and it includes their schedules, and it includes whether they're paid between flights and how many hours they're supposed to fly, and all the other crap that goes with negotiations, which no newspaper wants to talk to you about, or CNBC sure doesn't want to talk to you about. But safe to say, the pilots are likely to get 8% this year, retroactive to the beginning of the year, so that's a nice bonus check. It'll be probably 7 or something percent next year, and then 5 or 6% the year after that. So it'll work out to be 22% over 2 or 3 years, probably 3 years. And that's baked in. That's made in America inflation. This is the echo effect that you get with inflation. You get the price increases coming from an outside source, and then everyone reacts to the cost of living going up, and they want more money from their employer. And many Americans are employed by American companies. You see, it's within. And so it's a made in America thing. Teachers, firefighters, police services, all civil servants at the federal, state, county, city, town, village, across the United States, across Canada, provincial, and so on, all are going to get raises that will add to inflation, which bakes it in. This is why prices don't go back. Prices will not go back to where they came from, except for prices that were affected by one-offs. For example, a store brought in product that cost 30% more. They raised the prices, and then the next time the product came in lower, so they lowered the price. That's a one-off, but it won't go back to where it came from. It'll kind of go back closer, sort of near, but not really. The other baked-in inflation that you're already noticing and you're hearing about is what's called shrinkflation, where you go to the grocery store and you buy a jar of peanut butter. And the jar of peanut butter used to be 500 grams or, 16 ounces, and now it's 14 and a half ounces. Same price or even more money. More money for less peanut butter. More money for less jam. More money for less bacon. We all saw the bacon game. In Canada, we used to buy 500-gram bacon containers, slab of sliced bacon at your grocery store. 500 grams is 1.1 pounds That used to be the standard. Now bacon is sold at 375 grams in a package. That's the new normal now. At Costco, we buy bacon 4 in a pack like you do down in the States. You go to Costco and they're in those plastic mesh bags. There's 4 bacons in there. Those are 500 grams in Canada, four times 500. But instead of paying $19.99, what we used to pay for 4 of those bacons, we're now paying $28.99 or whatever the price is. I can't even tell you what the price is. It's more, a lot more. And it's not 8% more. That so-called official inflation rate you keep getting told about, there is no official 8% inflation rate in your life. None of you are only paying 8% more. None of you. We're all paying more than that. I mean, who trusts and believes the bunk coming out of a government entity that says, oh yeah, inflation is 8.1%. Yeah, right. Give me a break. Not true. There's real life and then there's government projections. Whatever. We know how it works. So with inflation built in and baked in and now being baked in with every new raise, every time one of you guys gets a raise, I go, way to go. But that adds to inflation. It's just the way it is. You got to get your pound of flesh and everyone else is on their own. And that's life in the Western world. So the Federal Reserve of the United States, the speculators out there keep thinking, oh, the Fed's going to ease up on rates because inflation's coming back down. It's already happening. I have bad news for these people. The second wave is about to come through. It's going to be ugly and it's going to be nasty. And the first quarter of 2023 is going to be a terrible quarter for economics. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Demand is going to fall off a cliff. Cash is going to tighten up because quantitative easing is nowhere to be found. The Fed is not going to turn around and buy back bonds again. They don't want anything to do with bonds. They want to sell off treasuries and bonds. And that's going to be a shortage of cash for the economy as a whole. And governments, the US government in particular, is going to run into a real nasty problem next year. And that problem is they're going to need to raise cash from bond investors at higher amounts because the deficit is going to rise. And they're not going to be able to easily convince the Congress, which is Republican control, to raise more money. And so the Republicans will refuse to pass a bill to raise more money for the US government. The Senate, run by the Democrats, will be passing bill after bill after bill to do a spending bill. We're prepared to pay the bills of the American people to the world. But the Republican Congress is going to go, we're not passing anything because that makes Biden look good. That makes the Senate look good. We're Republicans. We're not interested in helping people look good. We want to, we want to elect more Republicans. And so the bond market will be in the middle of all this. They know the game. Okay, it's not like the bond market is stupid and doesn't understand what's going to happen. They already know this is going to happen. And they're going to just calmly, put out the odd rumor here and there that America might go into default, which could cause consternation with the American dollar and could make the American dollar lose value to other currencies, which means inflation goes higher in America because import costs will go up because the American dollar is down. And then the Republicans can blame Biden for inflation. See, it's his fault. He's the president. As long as inflation goes up and under his watch, it's his fault because, he's obviously at fault. But when we had problems under Trump, that was the Democrats' fault in Congress. It was Nancy's fault. See? It's never Republicans' fault. But hey, this is politics. It's nothing personal. It's just business. It's okay. Keep your enemies close, okay? Anyway, we're having fun, aren't we? Option writers. Have you landed into the perfect storm of crap? Option writers, it's tailor-made for you to make money. It's just so simple. It's so easy. There's so little to worry about. And even if the market wants to go higher, don't fear the upside I mentioned from time to time. I use that term. Actually, embrace the upside. The markets want to go higher. Great. Your accounts are worth more money. You do rollovers on your contracts and move forward at higher prices and go with the flow. You're easygoing people. If someone is at your front door handing you an envelope full of cash, no strings attached, you might accept it. Well, that's what's happening with these markets from time to time. They go up. Not that that's happening right at the moment. We're down 49 on the Dow. We're up only 2 on S&P, and we're up 22 on NASDAQ. And we could be red by the time we open up here, but we'll figure that out when we get there. Anyway, there's a whole bunch of crap going on out there, as you can plainly understand from here. The China thing, I don't want to do a China rant, but I did one yesterday talking about the secret police and the spying that goes on, and all the snitches that are in China, in every family, in every apartment block, and so on and so on. If you missed it, it was gold. It was gold, Jerry, gold. Today, little headlines came out that are not being talked about in a big way. Chinese police services are now tracking down demonstrators on the street via their cell phones. What they did was they noticed how many Chinese people were recording the police and the rioting going on with their phones. They're now visiting people in their homes because they tapped into their phones, you see. The surveillance state is alive and well in China. It's not just your grandmother snitching on you, how late you stayed out last night. It's the fact that all your phones are registered with the government, and all activities are registered with the service, the online surveillance services, so that when you post a video online with your phone, or you share a video with a relative somewhere, that is picked up by the Chinese authorities. So the Chinese authorities come knocking on your door and go, "Hi, how are you? We'd like to take a look at your telephone." And they take a look at your phone. They can get into it quite easily because your password is meaningless in China. And if you don't give it up, they'll take you to jail until you tell them what it is. You'll tell them what it is. They'll look at your phone and they'll notice all the stuff you sent out, including riots, and that you were at a demonstration that wasn't sanctioned by the Chinese government, and now you're under arrest. This is going on as we speak. There's gazillions of Chinese being visited in their condos in downtown Beijing and Shanghai and Hong Kong and Zhengzhou and all the other, I can't name them all the cities that exist. The heavy police presence is now underway, and of course, the secret police are talking to all the snitches, saying, "Well, what time did that couple come back? They were out the other night. You saw them leave the apartment building with blank sheets of paper and stuff. When did they leave?" "Well, they left around 8 o'clock at night." "What time did they get home?" "Around 1:30 in the morning." "Oh, okay." And then they check their phone accounts and go, "Yeah, they were texting at their friends and stuff that they were out there protesting the COVID restrictions and, saying that President Xi should resign." That's against the law. You can't do that. That's against the law. That's punishable by 10 years in jail. Just automatic. That's like a parking ticket. You're done. So that's going on right now. So if you think that the Chinese economy is going to bounce back and everything's going to be great, 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 think again, because there's a whole bunch of workers that are working at these different factories, including Apple and Tesla and everything else. There are a bunch of workers that might not be back at work today or tomorrow. They are being interviewed right now with respect to what the hell you were doing on the street the other night. And so companies out there who are trying to build Teslas and Apple iPhones and smartwatches and all kinds of other product for other services are finding that there's a bunch of employees that haven't come in. They're just not showing up. Is this a COVID thing or worse? And once the COVID things are lifted in certain parts of the country, then we're supposed to be back to normal. And back to normal means only 85% of the workers are showing up for work. Where are the other 15%? Can't reach them. They're not answering their phones. They're not answering text messages because they don't have their phones. Their telephones have been confiscated. They are not allowed to own a new phone, and now they're cut off. And this is how the Chinese government suppresses all dissent. And that's why there's nothing to see here. There's nothing going on here. There's nothing wrong here. Everything's fine. Everything is fine. All the mortgage payments are being made on the condo that is going to be built here eventually. It's a hole in the ground right now, but there will be a condo here. I have a photo of it. Here's a photo of the condo that's going to be standing here in a couple of years. People are making their mortgage payments in a nice, orderly way. And anyone that protests against the bank or the mortgage company that they had the mortgage, we've visited them already. We've had a chat with those people, and we found out that the one individual who was making payments can't afford to make the payments, but mom and dad are taking care of it so that the individual can keep going to work. It's all fine. There's nothing to see here. It's a happy, happy kumbaya family here in China. There are no problems in this country whatsoever, nothing to worry about whatsoever. And don't tell us how to run our affairs, because that's interfering with our domestic policies. But we'll tell you that you Americans are a real problem over here. We don't like the way you operate. But that, that's just our opinion. We're not trying to interfere with your affairs or anything. No. Okay. The old man rants on. What can I say? So much fun. I don't have any plans to visit China, by the way, in my travel plans. None in the immediate future. No, I don't think so. Fun times. We're down 67 on the Dow. We're down 1 point on S&P now. We've gone red, and we're only up 10 on NASDAQ. We're heading red on all the markets right now. We're going that direction, I think. Watching, let me take a peek here again at European markets. We're still red in looks like Italy, I think Spain, and we were red in France, Germany, not quite England, but we bounced back just a little dead cat bounce recovery, but this isn't going to last. Now that the US is heading red, these guys will turn the other direction as well. We'll keep an eye on that. Fun times in the OK Corral, kids. Oil up $1.50 this morning to 78.74. A little dead cat bounce there. But the Dow is now off 68 and falling faster. NASDAQ only up 9 now, definitely backing off as we speak. Apple is up 15 cents. This morning, Apple was at 145, 145.30, but $1 higher than where it is now. It's given up $1 to be only up 17 cents. Apple is backing off yet again. The realization of Apple's predicament is slowly coming to the surface globally. Investors in Europe and North America, South America, Africa, Asia, they understand that Apple is not an American company in the truest sense of the word. Apple is headquartered in the US, yes. They don't make their product in America. And a majority of their product is made overseas, and a majority of the product is made in China for domestic consumption in China and worldwide distribution. And all companies on the S&P 500, the NASDAQ 100, or the Dow 30, all the companies that make up those indexes that have operations in China, they are all in a pickle right now, especially on top of that, all European companies that are operating in China. They are all in an uncomfortable situation right now. And that situation is many of them utilize production facilities in China, distribution facilities in China, to sell to Chinese entrepreneurs and customers, and clientele. The growing middle class of China have been for 30 years. This is nothing new. It's been since the 90s. The problem is that the government of China and the country of China and the rhetoric coming out of the national spokespeople of China, the Communist Party, are not necessarily all that pro-Western. So they're really not fans of the United States and Canada right now. They're not really fans of the European thing. They kind of don't like countries that sort of like to allow their citizens to say what they think. They're not fans of this stuff. And there's rhetoric in China that is anti-Western, if to coin a phrase, if we call ourselves Western. These corporations are asking themselves, geez, our reputation in our own countries are kind of getting beat up here. We employ Americans and Canadians, and we employ UK residents, and we employ Germans and all the other EU countries. We have operations in many places because we're big companies. These are Dow 30s, the S&P 500. They're big companies. with a lot of offices and a lot of people around the world. The problem is that you're in bed with those guys in China, and it doesn't look too good. It doesn't look too good. You certainly can't call yourselves, we're an American company and God bless America. You certainly can't promote that around the world, because you're not. You're not fooling us. We know better. Canadian companies are very quietly asking themselves, what are we doing? What's our potential here? What's our situation? Should we be pulling out of China quietly and setting up shop in Vietnam? We'll have offices and distribution centers and employees and all that, but maybe not inside China proper. Maybe in Taiwan, maybe in South Korea, maybe in Japan, maybe in Indonesia, the Philippines, around Malaysia, somewhere near China, but not in China. Can we be, say, in Singapore? Could we have our corporate offices in Singapore and our distribution center in Singapore? Great international shipping place for ships, planes, you name it. Or should we be in Malaysia or Thailand? Should we be considering Indonesia? Should we spread it around? Should we take the big factories that we have in China and fracture them into 5 different units? We have 1 unit in South Korea, 1 unit in Japan, 1 in Vietnam, 1 in Indonesia. And that way we have Asian operations, none of which are in China. And we import to China when we do want to sell something. But what we do is we sell to a Chinese importer that is based in the countries where we're based. So in Vietnam, we have our operations, we make whatever we make there, and we sell that product for the China market to a China distributor who has an office in Vietnam. They are importing into China, not us. That's a separation, a 1 layer of separation away, and we're not directly there. Would that work for us? Because we might have all kinds of paperwork problems to importing into China our goods. We're a Chinese national, a Chinese licensed importer, and that's a unique word in China. Licensed importer into China can do it because they pay the bribes to the officials in China to be allowed to do this. Maybe that's how we do it, because that way we don't pay bribes. No, we deal with this company that's legit, and they pay bribes. That's their business. We don't tell them how to run their business. They don't tell us how to run our business. And maybe the Department of Justice in America won't go after us for paying bribes indirectly into China because we have a guy as our friend. I don't know. I'm wondering. There could be a lot of that going on globally right now. A lot of second guessing going on right now. This is going to affect China. Because if you don't have a lot of domestic Chinese people working for your companies, and we are talking about tens of thousands of companies globally that have come into China, if they slowly pull back, that means Chinese nationals are not needed for everyday, day-to-day affairs stuff. That means layoffs. That means no jobs from these outfits. And that's where Germany, France, Italy, Spain, Canada, USA, and all these other countries are so important to China, that we should do business with them on their turf, because that means we're invested in their turf. You see, we don't care. But if we back off and go, we don't like the way you're treating your people, we don't like the fact that secret police are seizing people's phones and arresting people on what they're texting to each other, we don't like that. We frown on that in our own countries. We have this freedom of assembly stuff and freedom of expression and the First Amendment and the Second Amendment and the Fourth Amendment, and you have all these things. We have the Charter of Rights and Freedoms in Canada, and when you don't observe stuff like that, we have a problem with it. Call us goofy, but we just have a problem with people disappearing in the middle of the afternoon. Joe went to lunch, and I thought he was coming back with some fish and chips for everybody, and he didn't come back. No, somebody saw him get into a van, a white van with no lettering on it, with a couple of guys. And he was in handcuffs too, by the way, and he was blindfolded, by the way. No one's seen Charlie. Nobody knows who that van is, what that van is, where it's going. Nobody knows where Charlie is. Charlie right now is being interviewed at some office somewhere in some setting somewhere that is where he's not free to leave. And we're not going to see Charlie for a long, long time because they're going to get to the bottom of what Charlie thinks. We don't care what you did. We want to know what you think. We want to know what you believe in. And then we'll judge whether you're fit to be a human being in our country or not. So welcome to China. Aha, fun times. Okay, everybody, let's go to China for a tour and have ourselves a good time with some fish and chips. The old man is ranting. Welcome, everybody, to the show. Option writers, I'm coming back to you guys. You're going to make money. We're down 75 points on the Dow. We're down 250 on S&P. And we're going to see the possibility of a non-dead cat bounce happening first thing this morning. There might not be anything to do with a dead cat bounce going on here. I got GameStop this morning holding a 21-cent gain. I don't believe it. There's 11,000 traded, which means nothing is trading. That is jack squat, 11,000 shares. You show me 1.1 million shares and I'll believe there's something going on. There's nothing going on here. Apple is up maybe 39 cents. Let's take a look at our pre-markets here. Coming into the opening in about 29 minutes, Rocket Lab is actually up 9.8 cents to 410, but it did lose 17 yesterday. SoFi yesterday lost 15 cents. It's now up a nickel. GameStop lost 88 cents yesterday. It's up 21 right now. Over on Matterport, we lost 16 cents yesterday. We're down 4 cents at the moment. 23andMe was down 11. The pre-market says it's up 5. Spire lost 11 yesterday. It's up 4 cents. ATI lost 3 cents. It's up half a penny right now. Smart Rent lost 13 cents yesterday. It's up 6 cents now. Cyxtera lost 13 cents yesterday. It's actually up 22 right at the moment to 196. Apple lost 3.89 yesterday. It's up 37 cents. Goldman dropped 6.50 yesterday. It's down 19 cents right now. Cisco lost 32 cents yesterday. It doesn't show a change at the moment. Tesla was up 6 cents after the whole day was over. Tesla was up 6 cents a share. It's up 198 at the moment this morning. ARC Innovations lost $1.01. It's up 19 cents. Microsoft lost $5.73 yesterday. It's down 15 cents right now. Bed Bath Beyond down 20, up 1 penny now. Pfizer up 36 cents yesterday, up 2 cents this morning. 49.59 on Pfizer. HPQ coming out with earnings today lost 94 cents yesterday. It's up 7 this morning. 29.28. Carvana down 50 cents yesterday, up a nickel right now. Google down 135 yesterday, up 23 cents. Amazon up 54 yesterday, up 48 today. So some stocks are gaining, but they're not gaining, not very many of them. As a matter of fact, most of them are not even gaining back what they lost yesterday. Their losses yesterday are not even being recovered this morning. That's why this market doesn't look so good. There's not a huge, big-time interest to come on back into this game right now. Anyway, what can I say? I remember you guys are asking about the white van. If you ever get to Berlin, you got to take the tour of the Stasi Museum, the former headquarters of the secret police for East Germany. It's open to the public. And I took a tour. This was back in, this is a while ago now when I was back there. It was in 2015. Yeah, 7 years ago? God, time is flying. Anyway, you take one of those audio tours. I had one of these, looks like a cell phone the size of a brick, so you can't steal it very well. And you come up to a display and says there's a number 11 there. So you push in 11, and it tells you what you're looking at. You can listen to it in German and English and French, whatever. Anyway, I'm in the lobby of the Stasi secret police. I'm in the lobby of this admin building. And off to the side of this huge lobby, there's a van. There's a van that says something like Berlin Fish Company or something like that. It just looks like a pedestrian van. So you come up to it, and you see it from the front, and then you can walk around it. Okay, and you come around behind it. The doors are open in the back, and you look at the back, and it's a paddy wagon. It's a police vehicle. There's no fish in there. The only thing this holds are people. This takes people to the Stasi secret police headquarters for interrogation. That's what this thing is. It looks like a regular old vehicle. The guys driving it are wearing uniforms that they work for a fish company. You think that they're cops, they're secret police, and they're sent to pick up people. And they get escorted into the back of the vehicle, and they lock them in with their handcuffs, and their legs are shackled, and they're walked into the metal pipe that's in the middle of the van, and they're sitting on a metal seat, and they're driven to a Stasi interrogation center. No windows in the back. There's a little bit of an air duct maybe, but you can yell all you want for help. No one's going to hear you. You're just being taken away in the regular traffic of the day. Nobody pays attention to the vehicle because it looks like a van. Apparently there were hundreds of these with all kinds of logos on them, all kinds of corporate logos on them that no one paid attention to. They looked like delivery vehicles. Very, very nondescript. Nothing to see here. We're just going for a ride. We're just going for a little spin, and then these folks would end up in the secret police interrogation center. They would get to meet their new friend, their interviewer, the friend you never knew you had, who is now going to be your friend for the rest of your life. And this individual is going to get to know you after hours of discussions. Well, we don't have any water. I'm sorry. Sorry, we don't have bathrooms. So you can't use the bathroom. You better hold it. You haven't had lunch? Oh, don't worry. We have a great dinner service here, but you're probably going to miss it tonight. You'll see what dinner's like tomorrow. They're going to get to know everything about you and your family. And if you're lucky, you're going to be made an offer you can't refuse. The offer you can't refuse, which is you've got a new gig. You've got a new gig on top of the gig you have now, and that's known as the snitch. You're the new snitch that we've just brought in, and we expect results. Really expect results. And if we don't get results, you're going to be our house guest at one of our fabulous facilities across the country. But you'll get to go to court first. You'll get a trial. Don't think that we would just put you in jail for no good reason. You're going to go to trial first so that the judge can sentence you to 5 years. I mean, we're not animals, and then we'll see you later. You think about what you decided not to do for us for the next 5 years, and maybe in a year we'll come and visit you again, or give you an opportunity to talk to us another time. Would you like a reduced sentence, or would you like to spend the next 4 years away from everyone you know? No visitors. Sorry, the judge said no visitors. It's the law. It's not like I'm making this stuff up. It's the law of the land. You got to go to Berlin. You got to go to the Stasi Museum to kind of see the other side. You really want to do that. Don't let Hollywood give you the impression of what it's like. Go see it for yourself. It's very cheap to go in. It's like €5 to tour. It's fascinating. And it all stopped in 1989. It all ended in 89. And you'll be amazed at how deep into society this thing was, this organization was, up until 1989. And they would be today even beyond advanced, which is what China has taken on. It just continues. It's been going on in China since the 50s. And they're very sophisticated over there. They're very sophisticated. There you go. All right. Now, what can I say? Hi, everybody. Is everyone having fun here? Financial Mischief is saying, I just have to say, these markets are wild right now. From last Monday to yesterday, I made 5,600 profit. Account value down 3,700. Make it make sense. This is great. Yep, this is all good stuff. Options are the way. It's the way. It's the way. Anyway, there you have it. Fun times, everybody. Congratulations. Keep your eye on your options today and see how things go. And let's see what's happening here. Chris Savage is wondering, does anybody care about the Elon Musk, Tim Apple squabble? It's a nothing burger. It's an absolute nothing burger. Yeah, just Sorry, it's a nothing burger. It'll make news because of who's involved, but you're probably going to notice only one of the two guys will be talking. One of the two guys won't be saying a word, won't even make a public comment. One will probably make comments, will make tweets. The other one won't even react. So you're going to get a one-sided story, and you decide for yourself what you want to make of it. Okay, it's all good, everybody. It's all good. We're 20 minutes away from opening. Welcome all to the party. It's nice to have you here, joining us again today. So appreciate you. Thank you for the thumbs ups, by the way. Appreciate the thumbs ups. Keep them coming if you can. We're hope we can hit 200 thumbs ups today again. We appreciate that. We're going members only right now on the chat. Thank you, all of you lurkers out there who are always here. Love you guys. Appreciate you following this channel and letting the world know you like this channel, and you're following our antics. You're all diehard fans like we are, and 116 thumbs ups. Thank you, everybody. 116 thumbs ups. Giddy up. I love it. Appreciate it. What else is going on? Is ATIP going to delist? No, it's not going to delist. What are they going to do? They're working on it. They say they're working on it. I think the stock should just be bought up here. That's my take. I've been saying this for forever, and I'll keep saying it for now. I think the stock should just be picked up. Anyway, just saw a headline come through here. Home prices declined in September in all top 20 U.S. cities. The Case-Shiller real estate report is out, and real estate in the USA continues to fall 1.2% in September yet again. And this is of course to be expected with higher interest rates for mortgages. They're going to go higher. Real estate can only go one direction, and that's down. And it's now been how many straight months? Almost a year, like 11 straight months of declines and less activity, and yeah, not good. But that's what it is. And the Fed is what the Fed wants as well. Anyway, there you go. Testy Donkey, this is a good question. How do we know Uncle Bruce and Elon Musk aren't the same person? Both drink caffeine-free Diet Coke, and I've never seen them together. Have you ever seen Bruce and Elon together in the same room? That's food for thought right there. JR, 20 minutes, man, I better get home. I'm out freezing my tush off in the 50-degree weather. Oh, you poor bugger. You poor bugger. Mirko, if you were a sailor in the past life, shouldn't your favorite scent be something like old fish? Oh, they're talking about soap. What kind of soap for Flint Creek Soap Company should they make it? Oh, gosh. Andrew Matthew, 117 on the thumbs up meter, I'm slowly making my money back I lost from last year. Alex, can you really imagine Uncle Bruce being stupid enough to buy Twitter because of a cannabis joke bid? Nah. JR, we've never seen Elon and Rugman in the same room either. Have you thought of that? Yeah. Never seen those two guys together. Yeah. There's food for thought. Definitely food for thought out there. What can we say? Too much fun, kids. I see GameStop up now 3 cents. That's it. GameStop is only up 3 cents. 25.32. That's interesting. We could certainly go lower on the markets and certainly go lower on individual stocks. So that is a no-brainer. We've had a good few weeks here. Wouldn't surprise me that much. And look, if GameStop went down to $23 a share in the next few days, many of you with a $2.30 drop in GameStop from here, if it dropped that much in the next 2 or 3 days, your contracts, many of those contracts that you guys would have written that yielded you $450 to $650 a contract, they would be off dramatically, of course, because I would imagine that literally practically every single contract strike price that you wrote contracts at would be out of the money. You might have December 16s, January's, February's, March's, all of those would be out of the money with a $23 price point on GameStop. And of course, that begs the question: now what? What do we do? What do we do now, Bruce? What do you think? This is where it gets interesting, because you're not going to make pennies. You're not making pennies on your investment. You're looking to lock in dollars, and because that's what pays bills. Pennies is what you pay. You buy candy with. It's pennies. You pay bills with dollars, and we're here for dollars. You say goodbye to your boss and that office by making more dollars outside the office than inside the office, and that's what this market can give you. Obviously, GameStop at $25.32 a share right now. I would imagine that all of you sitting on 26s, 26 and a quarters, 27, whatever contracts, 28s, 29s, 30s, you're all going, hey, my calls are worthless. They have no book value at all. The only value they got is a time value, and that is depreciating every 24 hours. These things are losing it. It's a beautiful thing. I love it when I have viewers telling me I'm making money not doing anything. That's the perfect job, isn't it? It lets you do something else while you're making money on something you don't have to do anything about. That's the good thing. Whether you're playing with your model train set, going for a walk with your dog, going out for a coffee with a good friend, going to a pal's house and hanging out, texting somebody around the world, watching YouTube videos, just hanging out, watching soap operas, catching up on TV binge watching series that you haven't watched in a while. Getting paid to do that is a whole lot better than being underpaid at your office, right? I heard something the other day. I saw something the other day that I thought was really cool. It was something about, I think I read this. I think I read this online, and how I found it, I don't know, because I'm just all over the place trying to gather up stuff. But it was I'll say it's a fictional story, but quasi real. If any of you know the source of this story, you can always let me know. But it goes to something along the lines of a father was going to was saying to a 16-year-old child, I'm going to give you for your birthday my 30-year-old car. I'm going to give you this car. But before you take possession of this car, I want you to do some homework for me. And the child says, okay, what do you want me to do? I said, well, what I want you to do is I want you to go to the local bank downtown and talk to a loans officer and just ask him, how much is this car worth if I wanted to borrow money against this car? And so the child wrote down the year and the make and the model, and went to the bank and came back, and the dad said, what did the banker say? And the banker said, I could borrow $1,000 against this car. That's the value as far as the bank is concerned. It's $1,000. Okay. All right. What I want you to do now is I want you to go to a pawn shop, and I want you to ask the pawn shop guy how much he would advance you on this car if you were to put this car up as collateral for a loan with a pawn shop. So came back, and the pawn shop, I think the pawn shop said $1,200 or something like that. It wasn't very much. Came back, told dad, about $1,200. Oh, okay. I don't remember the exact amount, but it wasn't very impressive. Then the dad said, okay, I want you to go on this Saturday. There's a car show downtown at in the park downtown. It's all vintage. There's a whole bunch of vintage cars that are going to be on display over there. I want you to go down there and take a bunch of photos of the car from the inside, the outside, and walk around and talk to the guys that are offering their clunkers, their old cars for sale, their classic. Find out what they think the car's worth, and then let me know. So they came back and said, Dad, it was really interesting. Those guys, they loved the car. They thought the car was a classic. Some of them said it was worth $20,000, $25,000. It's a classic vehicle from way back when. And the dad said, have you learned anything about doing this? And the kid said, well, yeah. I mean, certain people view this vehicle with certain value. and others have a totally different value. The ones who appreciate the cars, they're the ones who appreciate this car the most. Others don't. And the moral of the story was, if you're out looking for a job and you have a certain skill set and you offer the skill set to the wrong company, your skill set is worth $1,000. Like, it's worth nothing. You're worth a minimum wage. Maybe you're worth $3,000 a month in salary at a low-level position. But if your skill set is offered to the right organization that desperately needs this skill set, you're priceless. And you might be worth $5,000 a month, $8,000 a month, plus benefits, plus a much higher ranking within the organization. It all depends on what it is you can bring to the table and who you can bring it to the table to. Look, if you're a coal miner and you walk into IBM's corporate offices in head office in Connecticut, you're going to get a job with a broom on it. Maybe you might get a job with a broom. But if you're a coal miner and you go to a coal mine in Virginia, you're worth more money to them because you know what you're doing. On the other hand, if you're working for an agency that licenses coal mines, you could be even more valuable to those guys because you know how a mine should operate and not operate because you were a miner. And now you're hired as a consultant with a suit and tie on, and you're an inspector. You're a different kind of person. You're inspecting documents. Occasionally, you could put the boots on. You put on a uniform and a helmet and go and inspect mines. You're worth way more money that way. That's the moral of the story. Are you offering yourself to where you're worth the most? And with options, at the end of the day, if you can write 20 options on GameStop at a time, and you can bring in $550 in premiums at a time, you're bringing in $11,000. That's in your account right now. And you're folding your arms and saying, okay, let's wait a couple of weeks and see if I can buy these back for $5,000. I'll keep the 6,500 change, thank you very much, for my 2 weeks of my time. But if I only bring in $3,000 this 2 weeks and I can do it again next 2 weeks, I still bring in 6,500 a month. I can bring in 6,500 a month writing 20 contracts at a time. Is that worth my time? Is that worth to me more than working full time, where I might only make 5,000 a month and I clear only 4,000 a month or whatever the job is? Where is your time best suited for you? Now, if you are able to do options like that, and on the side, you do some consulting work from home at your leisure on a project by project basis, that might be the perfect scenario for someone like you out there watching me over here. Each of us has a different world, a different objective, different everything. Some of you just want to go mountain biking. You want to go surfing every day, wherever it is you live. You want to go fishing, whatever you do, wherever you are. So you got your option world, and then you have your other world. And because the option world doesn't make you sit in front of the computer second by second by second all the time, you can put in your stink bids and your stink offers on your contracts, and you're free to move about the country. Your market is with you wherever you go anyway, except maybe in the water so much. But hey, welcome to the new normal. Welcome to this world, everybody. Glad to have you here. We're 7 minutes away from opening, I think. If I'm not mistaken, I'm usually mistaken, but I might not be mistaken today. I think we might be 7 minutes away from trading this market. And I still see the Dow off 34 points to sort of start things off with here. 3-point gain on S&P, 25 on NASDAQ. Not much of a big time, yahoo, let's go crazy market. This Case-Shiller 20 home price market index thing, that's another tell that this economy is falling off. U.S. home sales fall for third straight month in September. Case-Shiller index reports. There you go. That's what's happening here. All right. Fun times, kids. Welcome. Mr. Premium of the Option says, I got GameStop $24 strike cash secured puts that expire this Friday. I am folding my arms. There you go. All right. Let's see what's going on here. My girlfriend got rejected from her dream job she applied for yesterday, says Coyote. Was upsetting. Going to take out my anger on the market today. You know what? A rejection means she's one rejection closer to getting the yes. That's all that is. This isn't the end of anything. This is the beginning. You never stop going for what you want, ever. So, what you do not let her do is give up and throw in the towel. Your job is to buck her up and get her back out there. You have to make sure that she keeps going after that dream until she gets it. And then she'll flourish wherever it is she ends up. And everyone that said no to her will regret the day that they said no to this gal. That's her job. That is the mission at hand here. So get to work, Coyote. Get to work out there. All right. That's it, Coyote. One door closes, another one will open. There you go. And you know, maybe this is the perfect way for your girlfriend to learn all about writing stock options. Well, there is that. Alberto, tell her to look into CNA, Travelers, Chubb, Cincinnati Insurance Companies, not agencies. They have some phenomenal positions and they're willing to teach. I believe Travelers is starting at $130,000 a year. There you go. New hire, says Alberto Gode. She's just isn't into the market, which is fine. It's not for everyone. She wants to help animals. The job was helping rehabilitate chimps at a sanctuary. Well, again, you know, there's more than one way to play this. That, you know, it just, certain jobs are, of course, are highly specialized. I get that. I mean, look, this is something really unique. But you know what? Just, you never stop. You never stop. You never stop. You keep working on it. It's going to be hard. Okay. I like that perspective, Uncle Bruce. Thank you. There you go. One step closer to a yes. That's all it is. Anyway, always great with the words of encouragement, Uncle Bruce. It is much appreciated. You got it, buddy. I mean, I tried to become a stockbroker so hard. I remember in 78, I took the securities course. I had it in early 79. I had my Canadian securities course passed. All I needed was a broker to hire me, and I could be licensed in 30 days. I was ready to become a stockbroker. I had worked my ass off to do the course, and I was just, you know, voraciously following the markets everywhere I could to absorb everything about the stock markets. I was full of vim and vinegar. I was 24 years old, and I had just done all this, and I was ready to go. And then I went into town, and I went and applied and talked to at least a dozen brokerage firms. They all said no. They all said no. They all said no. And finally, I got one that said yes. And I got in. And within 6 months, I had 200 clients. I was licensed. And within 3 months of that, I was driving a brand new BMW. I mean, my life completely turned around. This is 1979, the end of 79 into 1980. By 1981, I was a partner in a brokerage firm. By 1983, I was a vice president for the province of Alberta and branch manager of a brokerage firm. And I had 25 stockbrokers working for me and 15 support staff working for them and me, 40 people. I was running an office in the business, 40 people. And all the branch managers in town, all the 60 other guys, 12 of them had said no to me. They wouldn't hire me as a broker. Now I was their equal. In most cases, I was above them because they weren't vice presidents. They were just branch managers. I was a VP, a license holder for the firm. So I was actually higher up. I had to take more exams than they did to get the other licenses I needed to be a branch manager and a VP. They said no to me. And I never forgot that. And I kept telling myself, you're one step closer to getting the yes. Don't you ever stop. There were down days. I won't lie to you, but I kept going, and nothing was going to stop me from success. Nothing. Just like this market right now. Welcome, everybody. We're opening up in 1 minute. Giddy up, kids. We're getting ready. Giddy on up. Fun times, fun times. Good times, good times. Oh, yeah, baby. Let's see what this market can bring you all today. Hopefully, it'll make you nothing but cash. Cash, 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 cash. We're down 51 going into the final moments of the pre-market. And that is what's never, ever give up, never surrender. Never. That is it. There you go. Uncle Bruce, when they told you no, was it due to lack of experience? They didn't want you to take a chance? No, it's because I didn't have a business degree from a university. In 1979, by that point already by that point in time, the idea of a hungry, driven person wasn't enough to get the job. Now you had to have a piece of paper. I had to show them a 4-year business degree from a university, or head office wouldn't consider me for the position. They were already becoming bankers, and they didn't want the guy who wanted the gig and wanted this as a career. They wanted someone that they could convince to become the broker. And I had managers looking at me going, man, I'd love to hire you. Good God, do I want to hire you? I got guys in that office in there. I want to kick their ass out of here. I'll give you their desk, but I'm not allowed to hire you because you're not from the University of Toronto, or you don't have a business degree or whatever. I was a watchmaker. I had a degree in watchmaking. I graduated college, but not with the right degree on it. It was just, I looked at that firm and I went, I don't want to join you guys either. If this is your criteria of hiring, I don't want in, because you're not going to recognize my contributions to the firm, because you're obviously looking for the kid with a nice degree and a framed certificate. That's not going to make this company successful. Larry Titus has rung the bells, baby. We're here. Yeehaw, let's go. We're up and running, baby. Rock on. Yee-hoo. Securities exam was not enough. Nope, not enough. Not enough. Sorry. No, we need much more than that. A university degree. And I'm thinking university degree is a bunch of bunk. I know a bunch of personal friends of mine that went to university, and they bragged about how much they got drunk every weekend. That was their mission in life, was to get pissed. I don't understand what you want from me on that. I don't get it, because I know more about the stock market than all of your university guys. I know more about the stock market than half of the guys in that room over there. Your so-called brokers, I know more than they know. But hey, you let head office tell you how to run your branch, Mr. Branch Manager. Yeah, you've got some. You know what you get? You get the crap, but you don't get any of the kudos. That's what you get. Enjoy your life. I'll go somewhere else. And that's how it was. Never, ever surrender. Never give up. Never surrender. I heard that in a movie once. Yee-hoo! Larry is our constant man. We're up and running, baby. We're here. We're down 16 on the Dow. Down 16 points. Now I think we're down 60 points. So we're slowly opening it up here. We're down half a point on S&P. We're up 12 on NASDAQ. Let's see if I can get this to run up a little bit. Hang on. We're down 23 over there. The Case-Shiller thing keeps coming up. GameStop is up 30 cents right now. Let's see what I got. Down 18 on the Dow. Down 1 on S&P. We're up 11 on NASDAQ. Oil up $1.20, $1.30 a barrel at the moment. That's what we got. The Dow is negative to open. We'll see how it goes in the first 15, 20 minutes, an hour, whatever. You never, ever stop. Even in 1970, a business degree was the laughingstock of degrees. Good to know, Uncle Bruce. Oh, gosh, yeah. University degrees are a dime a dozen, in my opinion. You borrow enough money, pay enough fees, you pass. What do you need to get a university degree? A passing grade? It doesn't say the grade on your certificate, It doesn't say, so-and-so got this degree with a grade of so-and-so. It doesn't say that. It just says you have this document. That's all it is. No, it's the drive, baby. Show me what you got. Tell me your passion. Tell me what you're about. What were your mom and dad like? What was it like growing up? Tell me about your life. Show me how hungry you are. Then I'll know. When I hired brokers, because that's the tables turned. I became the manager who had to hire guys. I had to say yes and no. And I would get these really sophisticated guys who were so full of themselves, and they would come in with a master's degree, and they thought that they would just get the golden ticket right into the job. And I just looking at them going, you don't know jack squat. I can't teach you this. You don't want to learn from me. You're not going to want to learn from me because you're going to look at me going, you're just a watchmaker who's a branch manager. What the hell do you know? You're not going to do me any good as a stockbroker. You're useless to me. You might be the perfect guy over at Merrill Lynch or whatever firm. You might be their perfect guy, but you're not going to make the house any money for 5 years. It's going to take 5 years before you make a dime for the firm, if at all. I need results, and I need them now. I need someone who's hungry and who's coming in here going, I'm already watching the markets. I'm already on top of the market. I invest in the markets. I'm an investor. I got $5,000 in the market. I got everything I own in the market. I am in this, and I want to be part of this business. I needed to see something. You got to show me what you're made of. And a lot of my so-called applicants just didn't have the right stuff. Just didn't. But that's it. You know, they'd watch the movies. They'd watch Wall Street. They wanted to become. They wanted to become Gecko. They wanted to become, the Charlie Sheen character or the other guys in that office. They didn't understand what it required to be successful. They had no clue how much work was in front of them. I knew what work ethic was. I watched my mom and dad. I saw work ethic. My father's work ethic, no one had it. I didn't have as much as he did. I tried. Tough to match that guy. So I had the right upbringing for it. But brokerage firms then and now don't exist anymore. But back then, they had already gone this HR route. We're going to do psychological testing on all the new recruits. And as soon as the manager said, well, if you can get through the psychological testing, I said, don't bother. I'm not interested in the position anymore. If you are relying on a psych test to see if I can become a broker, this discussion's over. Sorry, you're not looking for me. You're looking for a yes man. You're looking for a very compliant, very pliable putz is what you're after, and that's not me. They'd ask me, say, well, what is it you want? I said, I want your job. And they look at me going, you want to become the branch manager of this firm? I say, yeah. I want to become the vice president of this company. That's what I don't want to be a broker. I'll start as a broker. I have to start as a broker, but that's not my game plan. My game plan is your job. And they'd be going, wow, I've never had a 24-year-old say that to me who has the balls to tell me that. And I said, well, very few guys don't like to hear this. They don't like to be threatened right away. And so a lot of these guys will go, sorry, there's no potential for you here. Because if you're successful, I'm out of a job. That's no good. Little did they not understand it would take like 10 years under normal circumstances, maybe 15 years for me to even get there. I would be the guy's assistant manager first for 5 years, and he'd have the best assistant manager he'd ever have, making him an all-star, which would make him a senior vice president. And then I'd be a vice president. I'd push him higher. Didn't think that way. Anyway, that's what it is. I think you're channeling Churchill. We'll fight them in the beaches. We will never surrender. Credit Savage. God damn it. Now, Uncle Bruce, you got me listening to Never Surrender by Sandwich. Coyote, in the 2010s, when I was in college, a business admin degree was kind of plan B for people who didn't really know what to do. Like you said, a lot of people doing it with no passion. Lame duck. Now look at you, Uncle B, a homeless Canadian laughing out loud. That's right. Here I am. Look at the success I've had now. Who cares? SoFi, the chart is looking very nice this morning. Hope it keeps the trend. We're at 452, up 7 cents on SoFi. GameStop up 26 cents. The market up 29. Nazareth, 2 minutes to midnight is a much better song about this. Nick, never give up, never surrender. Tim Allen, you know that movie. DQ, Nazareth, Aces High, I believe. DQ followed by 2 minutes to midnight. Bama Babe, a degree just proves that you can probably write and spell and have enough discipline to stick to something. But in the workforce, you show if you have people skills and real talent for real life. That's right. You have to be a people manager to be a stockbroker and to be a branch manager. Nazareth, I think you're so right, DQ. Nick, depends on the degree. Sell my house fast up in Marlborough. I have a bachelor's degree in economics. It never did anything for me. Sell my house fast. I don't like that. I'm not good at office politics. I don't like it. I'm not good at office politics. My father-in-law was an expert people manager. My dad was very good as well. My father-in-law was even better. He grew up in the prairies as a dirt poor kid of a farmer who worked a land he didn't own. I mean, we're talking down, down, down. And he went to he ended up in the war, Second World War, came back, thankfully uninjured, and then got to go to school. He got to go to college as an adult, and by the time he got in there, he knew what he had to do. He knew he had to be he had to study, and he was open to it because he just survived the war. Motivated? Oh yeah. Turns out he was an excellent people person, and he worked for the Alberta Wheat Pool back in the day, and through the 50s and the 60s. By the time he hit his 35th, 38th year, he was brought into head office, and he was now a regional guy. And his job for years was to get in a car, company car, and go to all the grain elevators in Alberta, through southern Alberta, basically, and then he would meet the farmers one-on-one. And you're a people guy. If you can handle visiting farmers one-on-one, and they like you, you got it. And boy, you're talking characters. Farmers are independent business people, and they're very opinionated. This guy could get along with anybody. And whenever there was there'll be like a parade, in a little town, whatever, the wheat pool would have a little float, and he would come out with the float, and he would meet the town's mayor. He'd meet the town council. He'd meet all the local business leaders, and he'd meet all the farmers in that area. They all knew him. He was there all the time. From Calgary. He was one of those guys, one of the suits from Calgary that would come out here on the weekend, on parade day, to their town. This guy's value was just skyrocketing, and eventually became the number 2 man of the Alberta Wheat Pool. 2,000 employees. He was the number 2 man, right under the president of the company. And he was the right-hand man. Something screwed up, send him in there. He'll fix it. And he was able to pull in all those markers that he had left, all the markers he had left for decades, for years, would keep paying off and paying off and paying off. The phone would ring, and it would be a farmer from 150 miles away with a problem. He'd pick up the phone. Number 2 man at the wheat pool would listen to a farmer's complaint, and he would say, I'm going to get this looked after. I'm going to send Charlie over to see you personally. This is unbelievable people management. An expert that you can't learn this in school. They say you can, but this is personal relationships. He retired very well. And his number 1 guy was so sad when he left, because he was unreplaceable. He was not able to be replaced by one person. I learned a lot from that guy. I really did. And I leaned on him from time to time for help when I was managing my brokerage firm, because I was a few blocks away from him for only a short period of time, and then he retired. But then I would call him at home, and he loved it. He loved getting a call from me during business hours. And I said, I got something here. I'm wondering what your thoughts are on this. And he'd say, what do you think of? I said, I'm thinking of this, this, or this. And he would go, those are 3 good choices. And I can understand why you would think 1, 2, or 3. And then together we would narrow it down. And we'd come up with number 2.5. Not number 1, not number 2, not number 3, but 2.5. I said, well, we'll do a little this, a little that, and put it right in there. Maybe that's your solution to your problem. Experience, people manager. And of course, when I got together with him, when Jennifer and I would go and visit her parents, he and I would be off in the corner talking business. The gals would be talking the fam and all the other stuff. And everybody's having a great time. Mom and Dad are happy we're coming out. Dad and I are hanging out, comparing notes. I'm finding out what's going on in his world. He's finding out what's happening in my world. And we got along famously. And so, yeah, mentors. Yes, indeed, mentors. Anyway, there you have it. Welcome all to the show today. I'm glad you're here. Flint Creek, I was 19 and denied a job collecting on loans at a huge bank. I failed the personality test. I went to the president of the bank, and he actually saw me. He sent in a letter of encouragement. and he was fired the next day. No way. Fired the next day. Unbelievable. Sell my house. And whenever I was in management position, the money was never worth the stress. There you go. Nick, that must have been encouraging. Flint Creek, I will never forget his office. A smell of leather and bourbon. Flint Creek, my manager was pissed. I didn't last long after that. Then, what do you know? The student loan fiasco opened up to scrutiny. The very loans I was hired as attempt to collect on. Deuce Caboose, don't let those overalls fool you. Farmers friggin' loaded and always have 500 grand lying around for a combine that drives itself. The Credit Savage, we've traded 150 grand GameStop this far. We're going nowhere, folks. 25.58 up 29 cents. That's right. My father-in-law could read somebody. He could read a person. He had the ability. He was a great poker player. My father-in-law was deadly at poker. He could read a farmer, and that's what made it work for him. He knew the politicians in the area. He knew the most powerful legislatures. He knew the federal government elected guys in the areas that he was in. He knew the party leaders of the parties in Ottawa. He knew these guys. He knew how they thought. He knew their fundraisers. He knew their influencers. This guy was so connected, straight up to the top. In one of his first days, I was thinking his first 5 years, he was given a job to get in his car, drive to the airport in Calgary, and pick up a gentleman who was flying in from Ottawa, who was going to be addressing the Alberta Wheat Pool annual convention. He was this keynote speaker, and he had to go to the airport to pick this gentleman up, and the gentleman was in his 60s, and he had been Mackenzie King, the Prime Minister of Canada. He had been his right-hand man. He was basically a cabinet minister in charge of war armament. In other words, he was the guy that the government of Canada would send out to talk to the presidents of factories in Canada to make bullets, guns, boots, helmets, uniforms, tanks, ships, the whole 9 years. And he had to pick this gentleman up at the airport and bring him into downtown Calgary to the Palliser Hotel. And he went out there and waited for the plane to land from Ontario. And hang on one. Yeah, I'm not sure to figure that out. He had to pick him up to bring him in, and he brought him into the country, into the city, to his hotel. And while in the car, the gentleman was asking him what his name was and his wife's name and how many kids have you got, how old are they, all this stuff, just all of this stuff. And he had to he was talking to him about that and mentioned everything to him, and asked him about his potential, his future, his objectives, all this stuff. And he wanted to know, what his thoughts were and what he wanted to become when he fully matured out his career, and he also knew he was a war veteran, all that kind of stuff, and on and on and on and on. And I'm just right now desperately trying to find the name of this gentleman. You have to forgive me. In any event, he drops him off at the hotel, and the gentleman said, "Thank you. It was a really good meeting you." And this is a story my father-in-law told me one day. And at the end of it, that next day was the lunch, the big meeting. And my father-in-law was there, obviously, and this gentleman was introduced, and he was brought to the podium, and he made his speech and all that sort of stuff. And C.D. Howe, here we go. It was Mr. C.D. Howe is who I'm trying to talk about. So Mr. C.D. Howe died in 57. This would have been about 1951, 52. And he did the speech, and it went very well. And about 3 years later, my father-in-law was at another function totally unrelated to the wheat bowl, and the room filled with 400 or 500 people, and all of a sudden the room got quiet. Somebody walked into the room, and the waters parted as this individual came in with a few people around him, and it was Mr. C.D. Howe. And father-in-law was standing off to the side, and he's watching him come in, and the gentleman is coming and looking around the room, smiling at everybody, and he notices my father-in-law. And as my father-in-law says it, he saw me. We met. We saw each other eye to eye from like 40 feet away, and he diverted his path right to him. He came right at him, smiling, and got to within 5 feet away, and put his hand out and looked at him and called him by his first name. How are you today? It's good to see you again. How is, and then he mentioned his wife's name, first name. How's she doing? How are the children? Bang, bang, bang. All 5 of them. Rattled off all 5 kids' names in order. Father-in-law's going, whoa, I've never seen him since that time. I drove him in from the airport to the hotel. It's good to see you again. How are things at the wheat pool? I hear you've moved up to the general manager position. I got the word that you've been moved up. He was following his career. Unbelievable. I mean, he was telling me, now, when you impress my father-in-law like that, you are above normal. I mean, this is unbelievable. This gentleman was towards the end of his life at that time. He was, he was getting on. And here he is talking to me. He died at age 74. He's probably 70 at the time, and sharp as a tack. And they had a quick chat for a couple minutes, and then he had to work the rest of the room with 500 other people. Unbelievable. I heard that story. I thought, you got to be kidding me. He said, no, true story. And only I can tell you that story because it happened to me personally. It wasn't like this is in the newspaper. Pretty impressive stuff. Anyway, so you want it, you got to go and get it. You think you can show up at someone's office with a university degree? Think again. You don't want to work for a boss that's impressed with your university degree. You got the wrong boss. You are in big trouble. You're going nowhere. No, not a chance. Anyway, if the firm you want to join only cares about the university you graduated from, you don't want to be with that company. Talk to Steve Jobs about the fact that he didn't finish college. Talk to Bill Gates about the fact that he didn't finish college. Talk to, obviously not directly, but what I'm saying. The winners are winners because they want to be winners, not because they expect to be winners or they think they deserve to be a winner. Oh God, you don't want to hang out with those people. No. Anyway, there you go. Deuce Caboose says, my mother-in-law is a farmer, and that little old lady has piles of cash. That's right. Farmers are pretty smart people. Credit Savage, whenever I feel like going back to the office as a merc, I always come across newly hired kids from Berkeley, Stanford, and they just don't get it. My best apprentice an SF state dropout. Bright kid. There you go. I grew up on a farm, and let me tell you, Credit Savage says, my grandfather was always either working, walking around the farm to see what's needed to be done, or counting money. He was always helping others too. JR, well, what do you know? My leaps are appreciating. Karim, a thumbtack? I don't know what that means. Welcome one, welcome all. We're down 61 on the Dow, 4 negative on S&P, negative 11 on NASDAQ. GameStop seems to be holding again. Let me just triple check that. We're up 32 cents on GameStop at 25.59-ish. We have a Dow off now 70. We've got ATIP off a half a penny. We've got Tesla down 60 cents. Apple down 98. We've got SoFi up 9.5 cents. HPQ up a quarter. Amazon down 46. Home Depot down $1.80. Cisco up 4. Pfizer down 18 cents. Netflix down 201, IBM up 45, Microsoft down $1.15, Vanik up 59, Adobe down $2, Goldman down 28, Google down 36. Mixed bag, but we're not going anywhere with this market. We were down almost 500 yesterday, and it looks like we might go lower again today. Jennifer, how are you?
What are you ranting about this morning?
It came up somehow. The topic came up about it was Coyote. His girlfriend was going after her dream job and didn't get it. And I said to Coyote, that means she's one no closer to getting the yes she's after.
Absolutely.
And I don't care what the job or profession is, you never give up, you never surrender. I heard that in a movie somewhere. Someone called me out on it. And then I mentioned how I couldn't get a job as a stockbroker for all the tea in China. I applied for 6-7 months, week after week, day after. I sent in letters with applications, never heard back. Then I got the rejection letter. Then I got the occasional, you can come in for an interview thing. And met with manager after manager and got nowhere. And I never stopped. I just kept going back until I got a yes. And my attitude was, I'm in. I don't care what the name of the firm is. I don't care what this company does. I'm a stockbroker. I'm getting my license. And once I'm a licensed broker with clientele, I can almost go anywhere. I now have opened up the door of 24 different brokerage firms, because now I'm not a recruit trying to become a stockbroker. I am a stockbroker with clients. Do you want to give me a desk and a telephone so I can get to work? I can make money now. I'm a production machine. I'm producing revenues. You don't have to train me how to do it. That changed everything. Mm-hmm. And so, by I got in 79, and by 84, I was branch manager. And so,
one of the problems today is that resumes are scanned and they're looking for certain words. Yeah. So unless you have that certain word, no human sees your resume.
It is so interesting how many people out there admit or know of someone that either they got a gig because they knew somebody, or somebody knew somebody and somehow you got an introduction, or you met the right person at the right corporate whatever, and that's how you got hired. I used to go to all these seminars. My firm would say to me, go to the seminar, there's a speaker about this or a speaker about that. And I would go to these workshop type places, and looking around the room, I'd go, that person should work for my firm. I should hire that guy. Boy, I wish I could get someone like that gal to work for me. And you would see success, around the room, and you pass your business card out, and you introduce yourself, and you start networking. And the thing that ends up happening over time, as you get older, and as you get more entrenched in your position, you get phone calls from people you've met that are looking for something, or something's come up. And the firm that this person used to work for is merging with another firm, and this person doesn't like the philosophy of the new firm. They want out, and they met you at a thing 2 years ago. You were at a golf tournament for cancer research, and you met this person at the after party dinner for whatever, and that's how you met them. And now they contact you, and all of a sudden you're having a coffee with this person, and you're commiserating and you're scheming, and you hire them on. Say, why don't you join our firm? We'd love to have you. And what you do now is exactly what I want you to do here. You would be so welcome here. And all of a sudden you have an employee who can't wait to get started to join your company. And your competitors are wondering, how did you score this person? How did you ever convince them to leave that firm to join you? And so, it's been 3 years I've been working on it for 3 years.
In our time, acquisitions and mergers was the name of the game when it came to these brokerage firms.
That's right.
They were up one week and name changed the next week and gone the week after that.
When Jen and I became brokers, when we were in the business together, we were in the throes of the complete turnover of the business. It had gone from the 50s and the 60s from mom and pop brokerage firms and regional brokerage houses And then we had the national firms that kind of slowly consolidated into national firms with offices across all of Canada. And in the U.S., there were companies with offices across the USA. And then the banks got in on it. And in Canada, we have 6 big banks.
Yeah.
And they wanted to own the business. They wanted to own the wealth management business to add on to their banking business. And they convinced the federal government through enough bribes and enough campaign donations to allow legislation to allow the banks to expand their reach into more than just loans and that type of thing. And so now they tried to get into insurance, but the insurance industry stopped them at the pass. The brokerage business couldn't stop them because the brokerage business wasn't powerful enough with 5 or 10 firms that ran the whole thing. It was fractured across the country, and it was easy to conquer and divide and conquer. And so the banks just started buying up regional firms.
Those
and
financial pillars that used to exist.
That's right. And so brokerage firms would be bought up by the banks one by one by one for double their value. I mean, the partners of these firms would go, I'm taking the money. My partnership is worth $200,000. I just got paid $500,000, and I signed a 5-year contract to work for my former firm at a guaranteed salary of $200,000 a year plus benefits to take this deal. I'm taking this deal. Forget everybody under me. They're all destroyed, but I'm looked after. And so the top 10, 20 guys at these firms would be millionaires, and everyone else is a pauper, and they're on the street and looking for jobs because the bank doesn't want these guys. They want to get rid of these free thinkers. We just want the name, the prestige, and the client list. And we're now going to put our people on this stuff. And slowly but surely, Jen and I noticed that firms are disappearing.
Yeah.
Disappearing.
They're one day, gone the next.
Gone the next. And then the stock exchanges disappeared because the Montreal, Toronto, Calgary, and Vancouver stock exchanges were owned by the very brokerage firms that were trading on them. And now this partner was part of the Royal Bank. This brokerage firm was part of Bank of Montreal. These were now TD Bank.
Everybody's at it.
They all disappeared, and now the banks own these stock exchanges, and they consolidated them all into the Toronto Stock Exchange, and they call the Montreal Stock Exchange an exchange, but it's all one, and it's all run by the banks. And so, someone like me today, to try to get a job at a brokerage, impossible. I wouldn't get in the front door because I'm not bank material. I'm not of that. They're not looking for guys like me. I'm a troublemaker. I think too much. We don't need guys here thinking. We just want you to do what we tell you to do. Here's the script.
Yeah.
Call this guy up and tell him you want to get his $1 million in here and let us manage it. Then you call the next guy. And that's all you do. You just call people to get them in here to talk to our senior people, and we'll pay you $50,000 a year and shut the hell up. That's who they're after. That's not me. That's not going to work with me. So you guys with me here, this is a limited time opportunity because there are no 45-year-old guys like me in the business today. The business isn't there anymore. And you're never going to want to listen to a guy working for a bank for 44 years. You're not going to want to listen to a banker talk to you about writing options. They don't know what that is. They haven't got a clue what that is. That's a department that's run by these guys over here. And those people do not need to come down to YouTube and start a channel on how to write stock options. They're retired with multi-millions of dollars in their bank accounts. They don't need that. So there you go.
So it's cold out.
It is cold out, Jen. We have lost those 45, 50-degree temperatures. Calgary outside right now, my phone isn't even telling me that's how cold it is.
It's
frozen.
To be traditionally we're around 0 this time.
That's how cold it is. Oh, it just popped up.
Oh.
1 below Fahrenheit is what we're at right now. 1 below Fahrenheit right now. Yeah. Yuck.
I have no idea what that means. It's -17.
Minus 17 Celsius. See,
In
Jen?
Banff today,
Yes.
people know Banff. The world hears about Banff.
Sure.
It's -31.
That's
Then
that's
you
Celsius.
add the wind.
18 below Celsius.
There you go.
0 is 32 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 1 degree Fahrenheit out for my American
It's
friends.
supposed to be around 0, and instead we got some cold going on.
Yeah, we're the high on Friday. The high -14 Celsius. That's the high temperature.
And the problem for us and our animal and bird friends is that it's quite windy out today.
Mm,
And so
really bad.
today the weather is saying if you go outside, your skin's going to freeze in less than a minute.
Yeah, this kind of day where you're so happy you don't have an outdoor
It's too
job.
early for that.
Yeah, you don't want an outdoor job today. This is the day you didn't want that job. Yeah, ditch digger, not today. No. Not even inside. Not even inside a bulldozer or one of those, whatever those things are called.
A scooper.
A scooper. I don't even want the heaters in those things aren't that great, and your toes freeze anyway. No, thank you. No, thank you at all. Yeah, no, you don't want to be doing that.
So what would you like for a bagel this morning?
Well, what do you suggest? I mean, we have eggs, don't we?
We do have it.
Do we have ham?
Some scrambled eggs.
Do we have ham with it?
I'm not sure. I'd have to look.
Check on that. But I'm thinking if we do have ham, I'd love diced ham and eggs. If we don't, well, then I would be delighted to have a maybe some cheese on a bagel with an egg sandwich, like a fried egg sandwich on top of cheese or something like that.
A Denver with no Denver in it.
With no Denver in it. That'll be like what, a Cheyenne sandwich.
So we talked about last night.
Ah,
is DQ with us?
Is
he still celebrating?
I don't know if DQ is here. DQ might still be celebrating last night's Steeler win. The Steelers won last night, and I don't know if DQ's around or not.
Ryan again.
Oh yeah, DQ's here.
Cannot beat the Steelers.
DQ's in the house. Rock and roll. The Steelers won last night, so Jen is very happy.
And then half of the fans in the stadium, Lucas Oil Stadium.
Well, that's true. That's true. Splayer's here, number 167. John Anderson's hi, Jen. Coyote says hi, Jen. Jimmy Wilkes is 171. Mandu, I'm number 145. You and me both. Uncle Bruce is Flint Creek. Let's see. What else is going on here? JR says, I don't miss living in cold weather, freezing nose hairs and cars that won't start. Yeah. Larry Titus, what is minus temperature? I'm very confused by this concept. How can you have minus temperatures? Nick, it's so cold here. I'm going to freeze on my bike ride to work. It's 50 degrees this morning. I'm freezing. DQ, I'm here. DQ says, JR, freeze, oh, Larry. DQ, will take it. DQ, yeah. If we could only play the Colts every week.
I know.
Zeta State, I am number 177. Thumbs up. Thank you for these thumbs
every
ups.
Game helps.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But, coming to the end of the season, we've got some old guys that are feeling it.
Who's next? Who are you playing next week? You looked at the schedule last night.
Oh, who do we
You're on
next?
the road again.
Atlanta.
You're in Atlanta now.
Yeah.
You can beat those guys.
Could we get Matt Ryan to go back and play for Atlanta?
Maybe he'll be traded this week to Atlanta. You can beat Atlanta.
No, he came from Atlanta.
They just lost. They just lost to Washington this weekend on a last-minute play.
Yes.
So that'll be interesting. And then after that, you play the Ravens.
Yes.
The first of two
in
2 or 3 weeks. Yes, but if the Steelers run the table, they're 9-7.
That's right. Can't have a losing season for Big Mike.
Can't have a losing season for the coolest coach in the NFL.
That's right.
And if you run the table at 9-7, and you take 2 away from the Ravens, and you take 2 away from the Bengals.
Well, one from a Bengal, one from a Brown.
Okay, maybe they won't be first in the division, and you will be.
Well, the Browns definitely
won't
be.
Bengals are trying. Of course, the Bengals went to the Super Bowl last year and lost.
I know.
So we keep forgetting that.
It's very hard.
They're that good.
That you look at KC, a very good team with very good players.
Yeah.
They had that that sophomore year.
Right.
And it's just really hard. But this year they're very good.
They're very good.
I think they'll be back at the big show. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. DQ, Baltimore at Pittsburgh in 2 weeks, says DQ. See?
And then 2 weeks after that.
See, we should have Jen. We should put you on an airplane and go over there. But we can't.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, we can't. We got the.
I have things to do.
We have the other thing.
We have the other thing. Big thing.
That on-field incident a few years ago that has hobbled Jen ever since. We have to take care of that.
Matthew Perry, who everybody knows is Chandler Bing out of Friends, has just published a book.
Yes.
Canadian, called like Fun and Games and the great big secret. I'm absolutely butchering the title of his book.
Yeah.
But it talks about all of the success he has, that he was Chandler Bing. Oh, and he had an addiction problem that just about killed him. You know,
Yeah, he's coming clean with that, which is part
Apparently.
of the recovery.
very honest book. I heard an interview yesterday.
I heard good things.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully he'll do okay. Yes, that's so.
Great big thing.
That's a partial recovery track, is admitting your problem. Yeah,
And helping others.
and helping others. That's right.
Yoink.
Yoink! There you go. All right. Welcome to the party, pals. We're here. Good to see you all. Let's see here what we got going. I've got to keep on top of this. Sell my house fast up in Marlborough. I used to have a Series 6 and 66 licenses along with life insurance producer license. I was a broker for a regional bank, DQ. We got that. Mr. Premium. Sell my house fast. You flip houses now? Wavy gravy. I'm 179. Thumbs up, Bruce. You're 21 away from 200. Sell my house fast. Whenever I had a client with a chunk of cash, my boss told me to put them into an annuity because it was more revenue for the bank than a good mutual fund. It was so frustrating. Kashmir, I grew up on a farm too. My parents put us all in boarding schools, and during holidays we worked on the farm from 6 to 4 p.m. daily, off only on Sundays. We were paying our school fees with our labor. Sell my house fast. Premium. I'm trying, but it's pretty difficult to get something under contract for a good price. So many of these guys overpay and lose money. Kashmir, my mother never took crap from anybody, not even my dad. She managed the farm and the household like a general, raising 10 kids, keeping them out of trouble and educated. It's no joke. Unbelievable. Beach Boy. Well, Uncle Bruce and AJ, we got 18 Celsius, 65 degrees Fahrenheit, and raining almost nonstop over here in Israel. Could you send some snow over? Does Redbubble deliver Rugman snow? I mean, come on. DQ. Okay, back to lurking. Oh yes, I remember when I was in the Cayman Islands, the firm that I was with there, they were trying to convince us to shift our strategy as asset managers and get people to invest their money into the new firm sponsored investment account. Well, it was like an ETF, a private ETF that the house was running out of head office. And they just wanted us to be asset gatherers and send the money to head office and let them manage it. And of course, we would take the crap if it didn't work out. They would get the glory if it did, and the fees. And we'd end up making, $60,000 a year on an island that cost $60,000 a year to live on back in 1999. I wasn't interested in that game. BW, Uncle Bruce, thoughts on SoFi? December 23, $6 CS, cash secured put, and be paid $1.65. My cost would be the put. With the put, it would be $4.35, which is below current right now. A good play versus just buying shares outright. What do you think? Well, here's the thing: if you're going to take on and write a cash secured put, you got to put up initially the $600 per one contract. Then you're paid $165. Okay, so you're now on the hook for $4.35 if you were to be exercised. And right now, you're going to be exercised. You're being given a premium of about 18 cents. It's just not worth your time. It's just not worth your time. You're better off buying the stock. I would just buy the stock at $4.53. And if you want to bring in some money, and you want to do some acquisitions of additional shares, maybe the strategy is buy up the stock here, write an option against it, take the premium money and buy more stock, and try to write more options against it and write more contracts. I mean, just bring your average down. Now, I can't tell you which one to do because I'm trying right now to pop up the option chain here as I speak. I'm trying to be real slick about it. 454 is where the stock is at. It's up 9 cents. If you were to write contracts out to January 2024, and that's as far as you can go, and you were to write 750 contracts as an example, you might get 75 cents a contract, maybe. So if you pay $4.50 for the stock and get 75 for a contract, You bought 1,000 shares, you'd write 10 calls, you'd get $750 back. That would allow you to buy another 150, 160 shares, throw in a little extra money, get the second 100, buy, and then write 2 more contracts. That's $150 more, and that ultimately allows you to sit on 1,200 shares with a 750 strike against your stock. So good. What's wrong with that picture? There's nothing wrong with that picture. If you got bought out at 750, 1,200 times, you're getting $9,000 cash, right? You're putting up 4,500 right now to get 1,000 shares. And then you're putting up a little more money to buy the other 40 or 50 you need to get the other 200. But the option premium from that 2 contracts will do it. So realistically, you put up $4,500, you end up with 1,200 shares, and you are offering the stock for $750. If you get exercised, you get paid $9,000, and you put up $4,500 to get it. Is that doubling your money? Yes, it is. Is it a guarantee it's going to happen? No. Could it happen? Yes. Would you allow it to happen? Maybe, maybe not. Why? Because if the shares go to $7 between now and January 2024, that's 13 months from now. So a year from now, the stock is $7. A year from now, these 750 contracts are still out of the money with a month and a half to go. They'll be trading at 50 to 75 cents each, probably. You could buy them back and now write $10 contracts for 6 months out, a year out. You're probably bringing another $1 a share, and you've just pushed them out to $10 each. You're in for $4.55 right now. That's what you're in for with 1,000 shares. But if you were to write another set of contracts at 10 after buying back your 750s, you'd probably be able to buy another couple of 100 shares. You'll have 1,400 shares, offering them at $10 each. You get taken out for $14,000. You put up 4,500 to make it today. You could do that with SoFi. You could say, hey, I have 1,000 SoFi right now. I have that right now, but I don't have a 455 average. Okay. Well, you could write 750s and bring in $750, $700, $750, something like that. And you can now go ahead and try to buy another 150. Try to buy 200 shares right now with that money, add a little more of your own money, and write 2 more calls for the other $150. That pays for the total cost of 200 more shares. You now have 1,200 shares in your hand, and you've put them up for sale for $750 each from now until next January. Now, the question is, what's your average going to be if you buy 200 more? If your average right now is $12 and you buy 200 more at $4.50 something, you're not going to bring your average under $7.50. You have too many at too high a price. But if you got some money lying around, you have 1,000 shares now or 2,000 shares now, and you have enough to buy another 1,000 shares now, what you could do now is buy 1,000 more shares, add it to what you got, write calls on all of it, $7.50 for January 24. Take the $7,500 per 1,000, so maybe 3,000 shares, $2,150, $2,200 into your hand, buy up another 500 shares with that money, write 5 more calls for $750, take in that $375. If you want to add $125, you can buy another 100 shares, write another contract, bring in $75 more, up to you. You might be at 3,600 shares, total ownership, of which 1,600 were bought at $4.55. Have you lowered your average from 12 to under $7.50? Is your average $6.50, $6.75, $7 a share? You're offering them at $7.50. If you get taken out, you make money on all of it. A little, but you do. Right now, you're sitting on a $12 average. You're not making any money. You're down a lot. This is one way to let the market get you down here. It's a question of how aggressive you want to be on it. Some of you with 10,000 shares, you can write 100 calls and bring in $7,500 approximately. And if that gives you enough money to buy 1,500 more, to write 15 more contracts at 75 cents a piece, there's another $1,200. That's another 250 shares. 2 more option rights, you could probably buy another 100 shares with the leftover money. You're bringing your average down, running up how many shares you have. You're writing 750s, and you can roll them over anytime you want. Don't forget that. You've written calls at 750 premium, a strike price for $75, 75-cent premium. And if the shares do go up between now and next year, you can always buy them back and write 10s for a year further out. You probably bring in another 50 cents a share premium on all of it. And you can use that any way you want. And you've just lifted your price. So your average was $6.75 and you were going to be taken out at $7.50. Now you're going to be taken out at $10 and your average is $6.75. Did you buy more? Great. You keep writing and keep extending it out. Use the option market if you like to allow you to average down your cost of your stock, even the SPACs. Maybe this is a way. On some of them you can do it. Some of them you can't. But maybe on SoFi you can. There you have it. If the shares want to go up, you'll deal with it. Rollovers. Shares want to stay down here, those contracts will depreciate. But you got the money. You bought more stock. And you've lowered your average price. There you go. Okay. Anyway, welcome everybody. How you doing? Uncle Bruce, thoughts on SoFi? Like I say, there you have it. You got my thoughts. Zed, DQ, I have noticed you have an awesome sense of humor. Thank you. DQ says, Zed to DQ. DQ, I'm sure says thank you. Paul's Guitar. All right, folks, I'm going to go rewatch Uncle Bruce's #2 class again. See you all this afternoon. Right on, Paul's. DQ, thank you, Zed. The old surfer, Uncle Bruce, is a human calculator. There you go. Never stop scheming about what you can do with this stuff. You're in the option market now. This is a whole new world. You have got all kinds of unique opportunities here and possibilities here to do all kinds of neat stuff. I don't outwardly promote writing options on SoFi. You know my reasons why. You've heard them a million times. But on the other hand, there are times where you could write options on SoFi for acquisition of SoFi down here. Now, look, if you got a bunch of SoFi stock and you got a $6 average and you write 750 calls on it, but you don't use the money to buy more calls or more stock in SoFi. You don't. You use the money to buy ATIP shares instead because you've got 5,000 shares with a $1.80 average, a $2.50 average, a $4 average, I don't know what. And all of a sudden you're going to buy 2,000 shares of ATIP at 47 cents a share or 3,000 or 4,000. You're going to pick up a bunch of this stuff down here and add it to your collection. And you're now down to a 120 average on your ATIP. There's a strategy. You're using SoFi option money to buy ATIP or to buy ME or Rocket Lab or Matterport or Aspire or Sextera. You might use option money from ME to buy more ME. You might use option money from ME to buy more SmartRent. You might use SmartRent option money that you bring in to buy SoFi. You might use all of the money you bring in from all the other sources to buy just one other stock. You might write options on all of these SPACs to bring in money to buy deep in the money GameStop calls, to write another GameStop contract and another one and another one. Income. And you will deal with all those options you've written for 2024, 2025. You will deal with those contracts later because you're using the bankability of those contracts to bring you cash to buy deep in the money calls to haul in revenue on a consistent basis. That revenue will be used to buy additional in the money calls, to quit your day job, remember the objective, and or to slowly but surely buy back all those calls you wrote and rewrite higher price calls if necessary and when. Rollovers, whenever it's required. You might play that game. So you'll utilize the underperforming part of your income, your account, the part of the account you have that's not performing. All those SPACs that are just sitting there. You'll calculate how much money can you bring in if I write this, these contracts. How much money can I bring in total? Now, what can I do with that money on this side of the account that is income generating money to me? Writing options. Do I buy deep in the money HPQs and write those? Do I buy deep in the money Cisco's? Do I buy deep in the money Pfizer's? Do I buy deep in the money GameStop? Do I buy deep in the money Apple? What do I do? How much can I get of those and how much revenue can I bring in here What's my number one revenue generator for cash flow? Because every month I bring money in from writing options. I want to write more options. What can I do to write 5 more options on this stock? What have I got that I can adjust to make this happen? Maybe it's writing long-term calls on some of these SPACs way out there. And on SoFi, you could look at calls way out there that might be, at the end of the day, 750s, but they might not be 750s. You might decide to write $5 contracts on SoFi for January 2024 because those pay you $1.35. And you've got 10,000 shares of SoFi, and you want that $13,000 to buy more deep in the money calls to write more options on something else.
It's going to be messy.
Thank you, Auntie Jen, so much. We have a fried egg sandwich with cheese on it and dipping in the kitchen.
Dipping in the kitchen.
Go Rugman. Go Rugman.
Go Rugman.
There's so many possibilities. Don't limit yourself, but open it up and get a pen and paper and a calculator going the old-fashioned way and do some variable possibilities and just look it over. It might turn you off and go, no, I'm not doing that. And it might turn you on to go, I am doing that. This is what I'm going to do. It's up to you. Welcome one and all to the show. Toasted bagel, fried egg with melted cheese on it. Yummy, baby. Yummy. So nice. So nice. Good to have you here, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. We're up to speed on comments. We are now at a 2-point gain on the Dow. Whoop-de-doo. Going nowhere quick. Here we are. There we go. And we have a slight gain in the market, a slight gain on S&P and on NASDAQ. U.S. consumer confidence hits 4-month low. Conference Board just released that information. That, again, could be viewed as a positive. Remember, if the Federal Reserve believes that a slowing economy is good, slowing housing market is good, U.S. consumer confidence is depressing, that's good. This is working. Higher interest rates is working. That's how the Fed thinks about this. They'll go, they're buying into it. They believe us when we say that we might raise interest rates even higher. This is causing a lack of confidence in the American economy for Americans. That's what we're trying to instill here. And then the other side of it is, people go, that means the Fed might back off on interest rate rises. If Americans are already thinking the economy is going into the toilet, and they figure the housing market's in the toilet, and retail is going into the toilet, they won't have to raise rates as much because Americans are going to back off on their own. Maybe. We're up 39 points on the Dow right now. This might be positive news for 5 minutes. Might. I don't know. See what's going on. So much fun. ATIP down 3.5 cents to 44 cents. The bargain is still there. Tesla up $2. Apple up 1 penny. GameStop 26.04 up 75 cents. SoFi up 9.8 cents. HPQ up 37. That's it. Fried egg with melted cheese on a sesame toasted bagel. Oh man. BW Copy, Uncle Bruce. I have January 2024 SoFi 750s out there. I was trying to work on puts to learn to play them too, but buying shares and writing covered calls is the best way to go. DCA always going on. DCA. What's DCA? What is that? Depreciation always going on? I don't know. My brain is freezed up this morning. I have no idea what this is. The Dow is up 64. S&P up 10. NASDAQ up 31. We're not going anywhere. Dollar cost averaging. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm enjoying this bagel with cheese on it and a fried egg. The DCA is just not registering. I get it now. Thank you. Okay. So good. Averaging down. That's right, IRR. You got it, buddy. You got it. Giddy up. Thing I wonder about for SoFi is, could we have a run back to $5.56 in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks? And then you guys are looking at writing options. You're looking at writing 750s or even 5s. They're in the money. You're writing 750s, or you're writing higher strike prices, maybe 10s for January 2024, looking to bring in, a more cash per contract. There's a million ways to do this. Utilizing this capital to enhance and average down DCA. Oh, so good. So good. GameStop, 2603. Gain of 74 cents. Trying to recover yesterday's losses. Apple down 2 cents. Google down 68. Okay. GameStop, 2604. This is a near the high today. Not quite at it, but close. The high was 2610. We're at 2604, near the high of the day. 390,000 roughly volume, nothing much. Again, not enough. The oil headline, oil up on hopes that China will relax COVID. Dream on, not happening. China is about to attempt to scare its population into submission by making examples of people who dared go on the street and hold a white piece of paper in front of their face the other night. There's going to be a massive media campaign inside China to show the Chinese just what the consequences are for anyone who dares indicate that the dictator should perhaps, quit and resign. The question is, will it work? If the Chinese police have to arrest 10% of the eligible people that can work for a living, that will hold back the GDP to a point where they cannot meet their objectives. If the other 90% are so demoralized that they show up working, but they don't work very hard, they go through the motions, that will cripple the Chinese economy from within. And no police presence inside a factory is going to make a worker work harder. They're just going to sabotage the place bit by bit by bit. Beatings will continue until morale improves. Doesn't work overall. And you got to wonder how heavy-handed they're going to be going forward here and what the consequences will be for the Chinese economy. We'll see how this works out. Tons of fun out there. ATIP, 45 cents a share, down 2.5. Tesla up 244. Apple up a penny. GameStop up 81. SoFi up 7.5, make it 8 cents. HPQ up 31 cents. This bagel's almost a memory. Apple down 11. A little sell wave just came in. So good. Oh boy, so good. Thank you for waiting me out. Wonderful. Very good. Headline coming across: families of the Iran soccer team. So families of Iran's soccer team have been threatened if the players of the soccer team fail to behave ahead of the U.S. World Cup game, report says. I don't know what that means. Like what behavior what does failure to behave mean? I don't understand it. You got to ask yourself, you're a mother, you're a father in Iran. You got 3 kids, and you have a son that loves soccer. Dad loves soccer. Mom loved it. Kids loved it. The son is a talent, has incredible talent, and made it onto the team, onto the Iran national team to represent the country, playing for the pride of his country. And the player finds out that mom and dad are under threat, and the kids are under threat, depending on how this person behaves on the soccer field regarding playing American players. How loyal are you to the country now? How proud are you of your own country, where secret police have visited your parents' house and have informed them there's consequences to them based on how you behave. You got to wonder. You also know that either of your two sisters leave the house without their hair being tucked in behind that thing, they could be arrested and never heard from again. You're aware of that. Just how loyal are you to this country? I mean, really? This is a country? This is how you run a country? You scare them into submission. Sound familiar, China? Yeah. You scare them. East Germany is exactly what they did. East Germans were terrified of their own government. Terrified. They had no idea that they were aware of the limitless power that bureaucrats held in East Germany. Never knew when it would come down on them for any reason whatsoever. The abuses were stunning. And when it all collapsed in '89, it was like we turned the lights on in the party. In the party room, the lights went on, and there was stuff to see you didn't want to see. It was pretty ugly. A lot of West Germans found out that they were being spied on by East German agents that were in West Germany spying on behalf of East Germany, because they had relatives in East Germany that were threatened that if you don't spy for the East German government, the relatives in East Germany will be arrested. Oh, it was a sweet little deal going on over there. It was intense. Wasn't a good time. When the lights went on, did people notice all kinds of shenanigans going on? Unbelievable. And now the Germans tried to unify this thing. They tried to unify the East Germans and the West Germans into one. That is still ongoing. That there are deep wounds still out there. Especially in the east side. Unbelievable. Just, oh my God, unbelievable. Anyway, going to be something. Going to be something. I'm guessing that we're in the nothing burger mode until Powell speaks tomorrow. Zed, I bought back my GameStop 30s for 102 yesterday and sold GameStop 30s Jan 20 for 250 and just put in a stink bid to buy it back for $1. Nice going. Zed, did I do it right? You did it right. Deuce, I can tell you right now, Iran versus soccer match will be extremely dirty. Deuce, and England-U.S. soccer match was pure class. This match, not so much. Credit Savage of Wall Street. Elder Bruce, it means that the Iranian players will probably be killed once they go back home, all for not wanting to sign their national anthem or sing their national anthem because of the human rights abuses. Credit Savage, sadly, the USA is going the same route. Sell my house fast. The Iranian players refused to sing the national anthem before the UK match. Sell my house fast. That's a big no-no in the dark overlords over there. Lame duck. Come on. 8 more thumbs ups for 200 is all Bruce needs to get to 200 thumbs ups. We got 192 thumbs ups. Thank you all so very, very, very much for these. If you can find, any of you can find a thumbs up button, I need 8 of you out there to hit that button to get us to 200. Please get us through there. 193 now. 7 to go. Just 7 more. Thank you, everybody. 6 more needed. 194 are in. 6 more. 5 more to go. 195 are here. 195 thumbs ups and counting. Going for 200. 5 to go. You guys are unbelievable. Thank you so very much for putting me over 200 thumbs ups this morning. We can feel it, taste it. We're on the edge of greatness. Thank you all. GameStop 2604 up 75 cents. SoFi up 7.5 right now. 4 to go. 196. 198. Now 198 are here. 2 left to get. 2 more thumbs ups, and we are in there, baby. 199. 1 to go, and we have 200. And let's see. W. Walters on 195. Thank you, my friend. So much for that. 201 now. Here we go. We've gone through 200 to 201 thumbs ups. 202 now. Thank you guys yet again for helping me out, getting me through this deal. I appreciate it very, very much. We appreciate it. The Dow at the moment is up just 31. We had a little run there, and it's petering out again. We're up 7 on S&P. We're up 21 on NASDAQ. Oil holding a $2 gain to 79.33. Railroad stocks rally as strike risk effectively removed after President Biden urged Congress to step in. the Congress is still run by Nancy until January, so she can step in and they could put legislation together to avert a national railroad strike in America right now. And hopefully we'll see mediators be stepped in and cut a deal here. Let's cut a deal and make this go away. Well, that's good news. The Dow up 22, slipping back a bit, up 6 on S&P. There you have it. Tesla up 286 to 185.78. Apple down 6 cents to 144.16. GameStop 2607 up 78. High of the day 2613. Right now 2610. High of 2613. We're at that level. Railroad stocks are surging after Biden urges Congress to act on a blockage of a railroad strike. Okay. Alberto, I'm here now, Uncle Bruce. I'm here. I need to get to $30,000 a month in revenue, please, so I can quit my job. Let's go. Make it happen, my friend. Help me. Tell me what to do. Beautiful. Coyote, they're going to crush the strikers. Coyote, sad world we live in. Deuce Caboose, ME accelerating. TJ, I agree. Coyote. ME is accelerating. Well, we love the sound of that. We're up 14 cents to $2.90. Go ME, go, please. We'd like to see it a lot higher than this. The low is 212. We're at 290. Traded 506,000 so far today. ME ahead by 14 cents. Rocket Lab is up 7.5. Matterport is up 2 cents. Smart Rent is down 5 cents. Spire is down 2. Cyxtera is up 4.5. At 178.5 on Cyxtera, the low of 170. The all-time low 168. Probably set yesterday. So we're at 178 now in Cyxtera, a dime away from the low of all time, but it is up 4.5 today. Okay. The Dow now is holding a gain of 32 points. That's where we see it at the moment. 26.24 on GameStop. High of the day right now, 26.24 on GameStop. Just popped up here a little bit. Something is moving GameStop as well. 26.20 right now, high of 26.24. The markets themselves, I'm looking at the Dow up 39, S&P up 8, NASDAQ up 26, oil up 217. Okay, that's what I got. 26.20, 26.22 on GameStop, holding a gain right now. SoFi at 453, up 8.5. HPQ 29.49 up 28 cents today. Alberto, tough to watch what's happening. So since I can't do anything to help, I leave news off at home. It's too depressing for me. Sell My House Fast says Biden has to be careful here. The unions will have no one to vote for. They crucified Reagan for the air traffic controllers in the 80s. This is the same situation. Biden is going to screw them. Credit Savage, I need to get to 30,000 a month too, says Credit Savage. Coyote, ever heard of the Battle of Blair Mountain? U.S. forces bombed and killed miners for striking in West Virginia. They will always crush the people wanting better. Splair, oil will probably hang out a while at these high prices. Uncle Bruce, question mark. We've got Alberto, Coyote, all about the moolah. I keep telling my grandkids, peace will only be achieved when the power of love overcomes the power of power, or the love of power. Never going to happen, though. The Credit Savage, it would be great if I could get to 30,000 a month and my wife to 10,000 a month so we can move to Costa Rica, El Salvador, and work from over there. Deuce Caboose, ME balance sheet, very strong profit and loss statement, not so much. Coyote, Alberto, as long as there are profits to be made, resources to be hoarded, there will never be peace. There you have it. Well, we'll see how this works out. Hopefully the rail thing, like I said, will be negotiated out with mediators and they'll come up with a deal. Hopefully the two sides aren't that far apart, but I don't know this. I'm not there. I'm here and I'm not in the business. What can I say? But having the strike happen could be crippling to the U.S. economy, no question about it. But a deal has to be worked out between both sides. Can it be done? I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell that one for sure. All right, 26.20 to 21 on GameStop right now. High of the day, 26.24 on GameStop. All right, there you have it. Apple up a dime. We're just flatlining on Apple right now. SoFi 455 up 10 cents right now, up 10 cents. HBQ 29.44 up 24. Amazon down 85. Home Depot down 12 cents. Cisco up a quarter. Pfizer down 6 cents to 49.51. Netflix down 48. IBM up 75 cents. Microsoft down 44. Vanik up 165. Adobe down 193. Goldman up 170. Google down 21. Boeing up 298. Moderna up 169. Meta up 106. ME up 14 cents to 290.5. ME holding a 14.5 cent gain. Rocket Lab up 7 cents. Matterport up 3. Smart Rent down 3. Spire down 1 penny. Cyxtera up 4.5. Okay. What can we say? What can we say? Welcome one, welcome all to the party. Thank you for being here today. 29-point gain on the Dow. It's a nothing burger today. Tomorrow, Powell speaks. Probably a speech somewhere. We'll see what's going on. All right, there it is. TJ, the workers want more than 1 day of sick leave. Last I read, that was the only thing keeping them from coming to an agreement. Well, hopefully that'll be quickly resolved. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I'm not the guy there. I'm watching everything here. Trying to get to people, trying to get my viewers to the point where they can make $30,000 a month. That's what we're trying to do here. Hopefully you're part of that momentum play, that you like that play. I appreciate it. We'll see if what we can do to get you there. Sooner the better, and you can change your life completely. Okay, simple. Okay, check out the classes, and thank you for those of you who do check out my classes. Appreciate it. If you have any issues, let me know. We'll see if we can get you set up properly. Every once in a while, someone will buy a class and the link won't work properly. Just reach out to me. Send me an email. Say, Bruce, I just bought class number 3, 2, 7, whatever. I'll take care of you. We'll get you looked after. Okay. Thank you, everybody out there. Great to have you here today. Hopefully, you're all going to get rich, 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 and richer. See what's going on. Anyway, there you have it. Thank you all. That is the story at the moment. I'll be back on today at 3 o'clock Eastern time. I look forward to seeing you folks when we come back. Showing right now the Dow up 17 points. A little slippage coming in here right now. Looking at GameStop right now, 26.24. I think we're at the high of the day again on GameStop. We touched it for probably a moment. 26.27 is the new high, but we're at 26.14 now on GameStop. We just gave up a quick 13-cent drop at the moment. Okay. Alrighty, guys. Thank you. Let's get together at 3 o'clock this afternoon, and let's see what's happening. Enjoy the breaks this Blair. Thank you very much. Let's see what else is going on. Book value on ME 276, says Deuce Caboose. Rock and roll. There you have it. All right, guys. I'll see you this afternoon at 3. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Join me then. We'll finish the last hour together and see if you guys can get any richer. Okay. Thank you all. I'll catch you later. Alberto, thank you, pal. See you later. Mr. Premium, Uncle Bruce, would require $1 million portfolio to get a $30,000 a month? Nope, not even close. All right, see you soon.